Hey everyone, welcome to KSSP Podcast. I am Spencer,
I'm Katie.
and today we're going to be making a story again. But this time, instead of using that card deck, I think it's the Fabula Story Creation deck, if you're interested in it. We're not sponsored, but that is the deck that we used last time. But today, we are going to use what I believe they call like the story circle in a way. So I have a little mug here that I bought on Etsy a while ago that just kind of shows what it is. So it's just a circle and there's 8 kind of sections of it. And then I guess technically like the top is order and then the bottom is chaos. Cuz when you're writing a story, I think it just helps you come up with a well-rounded story in a way. And then on the back of this mug here, it has what each step of the story is, or what each section of the story is called. Yeah, so I don't know if you could see that really well, but we are going to use Keynote slides to kind of make the story. So every slide will just be titled as one of story circle prompt, and we're just going to use the same prompt that we used last time with our previous story, but it's not going to be the same story. But I think our prompt was she walked through the door.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of have an idea.
you have an idea?
Yeah.
Can I
Well,
go through what each section is quick? Just
yeah.
so that I don't know if you know the sections, but and then you tell me. But so, the first like zone is a character in a zone of comfort, and then that character needs something, so that puts them into an unfamiliar situation where they have to search and adapt. They find what they seek, they take what they were wanting but pay a heavy price, returning to their familiar situation near the end and having changed. So that is just the basic concept of the story. But what was your idea? And then where do you think it will fit? Just so that I know where to
So the third slide, what was it again?
into an
Yeah.
unfamiliar situation.
So, okay. You can tell me if you like this idea or not.
Okay.
So she walks through the door and she finds like her partner cheating on her. Should we make her have a boyfriend or a girlfriend?
I mean, if it depends on if that character is gonna have much of a plot besides the cheat. Like, it
I
depends on how important they are, because otherwise we can leave it up to interpretation. Like,
is
then it doesn't really matter. Like, it can just be a significant other, and then whoever's reading it or listening to it can make the significant other whatever sex or gender they want, if whatever fit would fit them, you know.
yeah,
But
true.
if they're gonna have like a huge role, then we should probably
Yeah. Well, I guess
decide
I
if it's like a girlfriend or boyfriend
yeah.
situation. But
I guess the girl walking through the door would be the main character in my mind.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I guess like she is a girl, but then like the partner,
Yeah.
I guess I don't really care either way, honestly. If you have an idea of what you want the partner to be, we'll just go with that because I don't. To me, it doesn't.
We'll give her a boyfriend because
Okay,
more likely to cheat.
and people can make the story fit themselves too if they want, like to
Yeah.
relate to this. If I mean, I don't know if you'll want to relate to the story. We'll kind of see where it goes, but if you want to, you
Yeah.
can always change little aspects to make it fit you. That's okay. I feel like that's part of creativity is obviously the person creating it is gonna write what reflects them, but you can always, if you want to personalize it, adjust it a little bit. In my opinion, I don't know if other writers or author or whatever movie directors would agree with that, but that's how I see it.
Yeah.
Anyways, um,
All right.
so, huh?
Do you have any ideas so far?
Well, I'm just wondering. Okay, let's. I like to. How. So is this like a young adult then? Is that what we're.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, let me. I'm gonna add just like a descriptor because I just like to
Yeah.
descriptor. I don't know if that's how you spell that, but it's not underlined in red, so we're gonna go with it. So we'll do a young adult female, not female.
Female.
Okay.
Young adult woman.
Um. So what about? Are you imagining a city or like? Does
I
this
guess,
person live? Where do they live in
well,
your
I
mind?
guess I was thinking that she, that they have a cabin together and it's the
Okay.
winter. And so she's walking into the cabin.
Do they own this cabin or did they rent it? Is this like a vacation rental or do they own
Maybe like
this?
a timeshare type deal. Well,
Okay.
no, because then why would he be in there cheating and she wouldn't know it? But
Yeah.
it,
But I guess to
it,
you, is this their home or is this something maybe they planned a trip together
this is
and
like
then
a trip, or
a
like
trip?
this is like a cabin that they have. Yeah,
Okay. So it's like a vacation home,
like a
kind of.
vacation home kind of thing. Yeah,
And maybe they planned a trip together, but she was not supposed to show up until like maybe a couple days. Like she showed up early, is
yeah,
kind of.
even just like a couple hours or something.
I'm just gonna say showed up early. I mean, not that's obviously not an excuse for anything, but
Yeah,
it just okay.
but it helps us give
So
the story.
so what were they? What was this trip for? Do you think was it supposed
I
to be
think
just
like a Christmas trip.
okay? And is it? I guess when I think of it, I especially just being a Christmas trip, I think of forest. But I guess is that where you? And I think cabin. I would think forest. I guess too. But there can be cabins on beaches anywhere.
I guess that's true. But yeah,
Maybe Lake Tahoe. What about like a lake? I just love Lake Tahoe, but like a lake cabin.
sure. I mean
Is
that
that
works too.
okay? Because like then it can be snowy and oh,
Does it snow in Lake Tahoe? I've not been.
I don't know if it snows in Lake Tahoe, but we're just gonna do lake. We don't have to specify
Yeah.
Lake Tahoe because then the um readers can kind of build their own visuals. I think that's why sometimes I don't go too in depth with description because I like to leave it open to interpretation a little bit, but also that means you end up writing a super short book, which mine
Yeah.
have been, but that's okay. Anyways,
So
so
for a descriptor, I think
yes,
I picture her as like a businesswoman, like a
okay.
career woman.
Any specific business?
I guess I don't know specifically what I
I
have.
always get confused. Is woman one like singular and
Yeah.
woman? So this
I
would be
just like man
plural.
and men, yeah. No, it
Men,
should be singular.
but man is singular.
Man.
Men is plural.
Yeah.
Okay, I always get that switched up in my brain, but
We'll
okay.
just like man and men.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, you said you don't know any specific industry or field that's
No. I
okay,
guess
but she's an owner, do you think, or just an employee? I feel like she'd be an owner. I don't know why, but
okay, we can make her an owner.
like not a
Like a CEO.
yeah, yeah. Like maybe not run like I don't like a boss, like a
Yeah.
bossy,
Of like a big business.
strong, independent.
Yeah.
So the cheating, I don't it's awful and terrible, but I feel like she has a strong sense of self-independence that she just tells him like get the fuck out, we're done. Like I'm
Yeah.
like it's still going to affect her. Obviously cheating would affect anyone, but
Right.
she has a strong sense of independence and self
Yeah.
like to where it's gonna hurt, but she is strong enough to be like, I don't deserve this, so you have to leave.
Yeah. She could say, get the hell out of my cabin or something.
So then I'll just say kicks. I'll just say him, and yeah, obviously breaking up with him. Okay. So that's Okay, so zone of comfort. Her comfort is the lake cabin in the winter, going on a trip. Yeah, I guess I don't know if there's much else for like this part that you, unless you can think of more comfort.
Well, we could add that like she has a strong sense of self and she's like determined and motivated.
Okay. So,
Needs something.
so this is before the cheating happens. So this is probably when she, like, before she gets to the cabin then.
Yeah. And
So,
maybe she like went back early so that she could grab something
okay.
at the cabin.
So
Or like do
maybe,
something to her boyfriend or something.
so in the beginning, they were both in the cabin and then she was maybe she had like a business meeting that she was supposed to go to and
Yeah.
then so she was going to be leaving the cabin, but then she had to come back to grab like maybe her laptop that she forgot or
Yeah.
something. And that's when she walks in on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they start in the cabin. They're there for like a Christmas trip, but unfortunately, she has a business meeting. Can't get away from them, I guess, when you're in
Yeah.
business. And then, but then she had left, forgot, realized she forgot her laptop, went back to get it. That's when she walks in. So I guess maybe showed up unexpected more so than early
Yeah.
and find because are they just so are they just boyfriend and girlfriend or was this like a husband wife fiance or just boyfriend?
Yes, I was thinking just boyfriend.
Just boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
So then kicks him out, breaking up with him. So then I feel like it's gonna turn into kind of like a I don't know. What do you? Because
Like a
like to me right now,
self-realization
I'm thinking
story.
like, huh?
Like a self-realization story.
Yeah, like self-discovery kind
Yeah.
of. But I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Maybe she spends time in the woods and like goes through nature and like has these interaction with like these spiritual kind of interactions with nature or something.
Okay. Because I'm definitely so I know that she's strong and end up, or maybe I don't know. I guess in the beginning we could have her maybe not have that strong sense of self because maybe that's what she finds. Like maybe that's
Maybe, yeah.
her having changed. Because I guess to add some
Yeah.
depth to the story, we don't necessarily want a full. I mean, I guess we can still start with a fully healed character, but then
Then
adding
we
that
hard to
depth is hard.
yeah. Well, we can keep her like determined and motivated, but maybe yeah, she doesn't have that strong sense of self yet.
Yeah, because maybe that's what she needs to work on.
Yeah.
And that isn't a negative thing on it. Like I think we all could spend time working on
Well, stuff
ourselves,
to work
obviously.
on.
And I mean, this is a story, so it's not like real life. I mean, it kind of is, but anyways. So you spend some time in the woods, spiritual nature, and I mean that can be anything. Maybe she did a little acid or something,
Maybe.
or some psychedelics.
It's a deer and like they just stare at each
Legally,
other for like 2 minutes. Like, have you
or
ever had
even.
anything like that happen to you before?
Sorry, what'd you say?
Like, have you ever had like a deer, like an animal or something, and like in nature, and you just like stare at each other for like a couple minutes and then they run away?
I have not that I know of.
I mean, that's a pretty cool experience.
I think nature is. I love animals, but I guess I don't. No, I've never had that specific. I've heard of those experiences, and I feel like I see it in movies a lot, but I've never personally experienced it. But I do. I find nature and animals very spiritual, just in general.
Yeah.
Honestly, like personally, like when I was living, or when I was at my coworker's, like renting my coworker's house from her, I swear there was like a bunny, like an animal that was always around, and it was a spiritual bunny. I swear, maybe.
Aw.
And then there was a cat too that always kept coming up to the. I think it was one of like the neighborhood somebody owned. I assume, I don't know, but there's a lot of animal. Well, and then there was a lot of insects too, but those ones I didn't like. Insects just scare me. Like they just stress me out.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against them per se, but they're just so small and they can like get
Mhm.
on. I don't. Me and insects do not vibe. I'm sorry, insects. I
Yeah.
wish you the best life, but just not near me.
I hate centipedes. They're creepy.
Ugh. Did I? Oh, there was a huge centipede. I always felt my heart drop whenever, it was not every time, but whenever I'd walk in the house and there'd be an insect, my heart would just drop because I
Yeah.
have a hard time. Like, I think, I don't know what it is exactly, but whenever I think my brain starts to think that this is a life or death situation, even though I know it's not.
Yeah. It's
But
our primal instinct.
yeah, well, and spiders can, like, not very many spiders can actually kill us, though, I don't think. But
No.
there are some spiders where their bite is dangerous, so
Yeah.
I think I've attributed that to all
Well, there's even
spiders.
like flies that have dangerous bites.
Yeah, so it's just I just get it is to me it's because they're so small, so I might not even see them before they're on me. Whereas like a bear, you can see a bear. Like
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not scared of bears, but like I would at least know it was coming. Whereas an insect,
Yeah.
you could just be like on your computer and then all of a sudden there's a huge ass spider on your keyboard and it's like where did you come from? You didn't even give me time to like adapt to the situation. You're just
Even,
here and yeah. I don't insect anything that's small and tiny. I just don't trust them. They
yeah.
do some sneaking around and some shady shit, and I
I
don't
just
like.
hate when they're crawling on you, like feeling their little
Yeah.
all
Or
that.
like my
Nasty.
brother one time told my family that he was just going to the bathroom and all of a sudden there's a spider on his leg, and it's like, how did it get there though? Like, where did it come from? Behind the toilet when you're. See, they're sneaky. I don't like them. I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's why you gotta be careful with toilets. Mhm. All right, so what should she find, and how is
um.
she gonna find it?
Well, let's see what else. So she still has to pay a heavy price, and then
Well, I feel like the heavy price, unless it needs to be something new, I guess I'm not sure. I feel like the heavy
it
price would
doesn't.
be her breakup.
Okay, that could be. Yeah, it doesn't. This isn't like a strict guideline. It's more so just to kind of help us come up with a story, but that works because that is a heavy like because maybe she thought that he was gonna be like the one forever. Maybe they had been dating for a couple of years and
Yeah.
she like pictured a life with him. So now that that's
Mhm.
gone, it's kind of like you have to go through the grieving process with that
Yeah,
too.
for sure. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
I'll just say that. Are you still able to see what I'm typing now though?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, but
So,
I guess like just finding herself would be a
yeah,
big like a strong
yeah, like self love.
yeah, because I think sometimes um obviously anytime you go through a breakup it's going to suck regardless of if you have a strong sense of self.
And maybe like a connection with nature.
Okay. But I do think it's important also to understand that we don't like I think it's important for everyone, not just our character in this story, to realize that you don't need something external to validate yourself. And that's where the self love of just yourself is very important to me. At least that's, I guess, the journey I feel like I've been on lately. But
Yeah,
so I think it's okay to use external, like, definitely nature, especially. But I also think you just need to be okay with if you also didn't have that external factor. Like you have to be okay with your like finding your being okay with your internal self, which I understand with mental health is going to be a different experience for everyone. But we still have to be okay with it. Whether even if that means we need medication, we still have to learn to be okay with like our internal self. Like
Yeah.
that's not something we can just not be okay with for our whole life. It's not That's not healthy. But I'm not saying everyone's experience on that journey is going to look different. So that is okay. But it is something that we need to come to terms with. So I think if she comes to terms with like herself and find, but I also think it's important to find kind of passions that spark you and can help you kind of heal in a way too, like art or nature or anything. So you can use those external things, I would say, to help guide you, but it also still needs to come from inside internally, because that's a
Yeah.
lot of times at the end of the day, that's all we're left with, is our internal self. And not that we don't have friends or anything, but you got to love yourself. You can't use loving others to avoid loving yourself, or use external influences to avoid loving yourself. But again, that's also why therapy is so important, because they can kind of help guide you in that way, health like safely, I guess I would say. But so finding self-love, connection with nature. So then maybe, did she go on like a spiritual, like a kind of like a path type thing in the woods? Like she went on like a 7-day trek just to kind of find herself, and then
Yeah, that sounds like something. So she returned to the cabin after she.
after like finding,
Yeah.
we'll just say trek. So then, yeah, she'll end up back at the cabin, and then having changed, I would say, is also just having found
Yeah. Self
herself.
discovery.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think we need pictures or do you think we're good here?
No, I don't. I mean, I think we can leave that the visual interpretation up to the
Oh, wait.
viewers.
Okay.
What?
Oh, I was going to say we should just show the whole story now
Oh, yes, I can do that.
so that the audience has an idea.
Yes,
Of,
we can walk through. I guess we'll walk through it.
yeah.
I guess I didn't even think of that. But okay, we'll just do it this way. So, descriptor, young adult female, businesswoman, CEO, who's determined and motivated. So, our character starts in a zone of comfort, which for her is a lake cabin in the winter. And this is like a vacation home. So, they're taking a Christmas trip with her boyfriend. And today, she had a business meeting, so she had left to go to that meeting. But when she got to the meeting spot, she had realized that she forgot her laptop, so she had to drive back to the cabin to get it. When she walked through the door, she found her partner cheating on her. And in that, obviously, that led to a fight, and that ended up with her kicking him out, and they broke up. So going through the breakup is a awful situation. So she decided to take a 7-day trek, if you will, 7-day journey of self discovery in the woods, where she had some spiritual nature interactions. And during that process, she was able to connect with nature, which helped her connect with herself and find self love. So the heavy price for her during this whole journey was realizing that the breakup really affected her. So she had to grieve the breakup because she had imagined a lifelong partnership with this person, and that was now shattered. So she had to grieve that process. And then eventually, after those 7 days, she returned to the cabin, and she had finally kind of learned more a little self-discovery kind of about herself and what she wants for her future as well. How
Awesome.
was that?
That was good.
Okay. I think that was fun. I like creating stories. They're just
Yeah,
fun to kind of, I don't know, create.
it was fun.
I just like creation, but we'll have to try to eventually, maybe sometime. Either we could go back to some of these stories that we make and add pictures, or we could even try animating them, or at least drawing like storyboards, like actual storyboards, like you
Yeah,
have mentioned before too. But I think animating would, well, because we can start with the storyboard and then move to animate. We can, you guys, we can go through the whole process with you. That would be fun, I think, and then release it on our podcast, the episode.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens too. But yeah, so that was our story circle. Leave a comment below for if you have any ideas of what you want us to do in future episodes, or even if you have a story prompt we could try in a future episode.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And we also do some Twitch live streams sometimes.
So don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we do, because we'd love to see you there. But otherwise, we will see you guys next time.